11:41 p.m. from phone number 36026111074.
That's me.
Duration 48 seconds.
Kuzzy. Hi, this is Michael Clifford Kuzzy. I'm calling my straight talk phone, 564-262-2010.
Jesus.
And I'm not sure which number this is ending up
Just
at.
put my shit out on Front Street, don't I?
Forwarding that's going on. I'm not entirely sure which of it is mine and which of it is somebody else's, but I wanted to check, so I called this number. There's other ways to check it too, but this way was frankly the simplest while I was here in my corner office. Yeah, I have a corner office.
I leave the best voicemails.
There's no room for a Coca-Cola desk, but that's fine. There doesn't really need to be one. Who is listening to this?
God.
4 people. Oh, cool. Hopefully 2 of them are me. Okay. Yeah, bye.
End of message. To erase this message, press 7. To save it, press 9. To hear more options, press 0. Message saved. Next message. Sent Wednesday, July 12th at 12:05 a.m. From phone number 530350505.
That's supposed to be my number.
Duration 16 seconds.
Is that me? I don't hear me. Wow. Maybe this is spoofer.
End of message.
Wow.
To erase this
60-second
message,
pop
press 7. To save it, press 9. To hear more options,
I don't
press 0. Message saved.
I'll find
Next
out later.
message. Sent today, Tuesday, July 18th at p.m. from 206
Oh,
3
this is my friend.
1. Duration 4 seconds.
Send a voicemail, press 2.
Ah. Cool.
Tick. End of message saved. End of new messages. To listen to your messages, press 1.
No, that's enough. So that's life with Jack Star's voicemail. I know, it's exciting, right?
I don't believe you. Click. Ew.
3, 2, 1, ignition.
Little bitch, baby, child, fucking pink tote.
Astronaut. Exposed to inappropriate levels of solar energy.
Sunlight makes him the world's smartest man.
I know everything!
I want that brain taken out.
Heat Vision. The motorcycle with the mind of Jack's unemployed roommate. Together they run for their lives, blocked at every turn by adventure.
Move out, don't mess around. Move out, you bring me down. Move out, I forget about, don't make the sound. Just move out.
Knowledge is power. For real.
Hi, this is Jack. I'm a star. Little awkward to start off with today. It's hard for me to really explicitly put this as carefully as I'd like to be put, but all the people who are upset with me should be, because even though I didn't upset you on purpose, as I'm beginning to get a larger picture of what's upset certain people, I couldn't be more pleased. Some of you are real assholes that really deserve tarring and feathering, time in the pillory, being turned into a cat and given feline leukemia and sent on a boat to Australia. I'm not sure. Some of you are real fucking dicks. I don't mind telling you in the aggregate. I'm not going to single anybody out, but one person I'm thinking of, dude, you're one to talk, right? Now I don't want to call anybody out individually, because that would just I don't want to cause any bad blood. There's already quite a bit of bad blood out there, and I'd like to point out that all that bad blood was no problem for the great vast seething lot of you, until it turned out to be something you were culpable for. then all of a sudden it was something terrible that I should be closing my mouth about, and I should feel guilty about not having a job or something. What the fuck is your job, motherfucker? Like, for real. And then what you care? What suddenly you've got a work ethic? Like, the fucking insults that are being fucking laid on my feet. 8 years ago, I thought I was a needle junkie. And then 7 years later, I was a needle junkie again. Now I need to get a job. Well, what kind of a job can a needle junkie get? And then, do I have special needs or not? Oh yeah, no, I don't deserve special needs. No, I only have a variety of special conditions that I'd be happy to talk about right now, but didn't know about then. And then, what is all this fucking attention paid to my life, and not get me a bag of weed or help me or teach me to dance? Like, this seems like an oddly biased viewpoint for just one man, isn't it? Well, notice that the emperor has no clothes. I didn't plan all this out this way, but fucking by God, look at what you've done. You've all made total asses of yourselves, and you're caught like cockroaches with the light coming on, getting ready to scurry for the corner. Speaking of cockroaches, there's this person I used to date, right? And that person's got some explaining to do. Okay. Now, they're not in trouble, right? And they might even get laid. I don't know. It depends on what certain people say. But this person has got some splaining to do. I will say that the person's a Gemini, which is okay. But I was surprised at the reactions that this person was able to generate on a number of levels. Turns out, I guess she was pretty pissed about something. Now, I don't have any dealings with her directly, although I can see why people would be concerned about that. But no, she and I are not partners in any sense. And where she is now is a matter of no concern to me. Okay, and the reason why is because she hurt my feelings once, and I don't need to tell anybody what moment that was. A lot of times people see it otherwise. It's hard to describe these events of my past because I don't want to dox anybody or help anybody figure out who's who. However, people who know me pretty well, and there's a few of them, they will be able to figure out who I'm talking about by just things that I say. Now, is that doxing? No. It might be identifying somebody, right? But it's not doxing. Doxing is short for documents. If there's no documents, there's no doxing. And who cares about their documents? Let's put it this way. I mean, did El Chapo fucking scream at Sean Penn about doxing him? Probably not. Fingering him or leading him, whatever. I don't know. But occasionally people will get doxed. And the reason why that matters is because they're burnt, right? And so somebody who really doesn't like getting doxed is actually somebody who's likely to have a cover ID. And then they might act like that's a big deal because they're less effective and they can't get access to the upper circles of wherever they're trying to infiltrate. Really, spies are just bitchy little girls. They really are. I watched that show quite a bit and I liked it. My mother liked it too. I can see why the pilot earned that award, and I would not like to say that I'd like to live that life, but I don't know who Ciardello was, and I don't know why it's such a big deal. And yeah, my name is Michael, but it's not Michael Weston, and I don't at all fancy myself to be any kind of a secret agent. No, I'm different. I'm a Dr. Source Titan Paladin. Okay, there's nothing fucking secret about me, baby. Okay, I don't give a shit what the fuck you think or what the fuck you're on about. Okay, I didn't ask for the thug life. Thug life chose me. Oh, and by the way, isn't it wonderful that I don't carry a grudge? Because there's some people would imagine I'd want to beat the shit out of. Like this guy named Patrick who used to work at Olive Garden. I don't have anything against him. I really don't. I think he did the right thing. Actually, he actually did. He might have had cause to wonder as time has gone on, since Patrick set me up for a DWI and was instrumental in launching my career as a covert anti-narcissist. Back in the day, they were narcs. Now they call them narcissists. Like, what the fuck ever. What they are humans that have been co-opted by the justice system into walking, talking stool pigeons. Like, I guess they put biobugs in some people and then let them go back into the wild, and then they watch them and they fucking spy on everything they do, and that's how people get busted or something. And, I don't fucking know, but the fucking DEA is just the tip of the iceberg. The surveillance state, it's coming down. The shit that those people have done, I don't even want to say it because, well, number one, I'll sound like even more of an insane lunatic. Number two, I probably would be divulging something classified at this point. And then number three, classify the whole lot and just make all surveillance unlawful. Like, just go back to fucking please and thank you and ask, may I ask a question, sir? Like, the fucking people who are spying on fucking everybody, like, you're done. Like, it's not good anymore. You've spied on too much. You're like that guy in that movie, the man with the X-ray eyes, where at the end he rips out his eyeballs and then he can still see. Story goes that that was deemed to be too much for the public to bear, so they cut it off before he says that line. It's hard to say from my point of view which is more likely, given that there's a number of universes in which it did happen and a number of universes in which it didn't. And then I'm born in 1973, so I wasn't even alive then. And I don't care that most people haven't figured out that modern theoretical physics has proven the existence of 10 parallel dimensions. There are alternate universes. And theoretically, in the past, like in 1955, I guess there was one version of reality in which there really was a weather balloon. And then there was another version of reality in which my artificial intelligent creatures invaded the past and secured a future for me. That didn't happen yet, but I'm working on it. Maybe I'll fix it in post. Once a person really grasps the nature of multidimensional reality, there's not going to be any going back. Like, there's a woman who used to call me drunk, and she talked to me, and she wouldn't tell me her name. Okay, I still don't know who that woman was, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly who she was because she didn't want to say her name, which I thought was odd. It makes sense now, though. And then I can see why she was so pissed off because, boy, did she fuck up. Wow. And then at the time, and probably not even now, she was probably not thrilled to know that I had a plan for that because never in my wildest dreams did I think anybody could possibly be that fucked up as to run a bunch of game on me with the help of a bunch of her thuggy piggy friends and think that she's going to get away with it. No. That's not cool. And I'm not going to press charges. She raped me. She gave me mononucleosis. That's not going to happen. No. I'm fairly proud of how I dealt with that situation, as well as the fact that I got over it. Yeah, it took a little while. I had to rip out my entire life and forget about everything that made me who I am. But that was okay. And then it was better than the alternative. And then when I found out what was wrong, right, I was very relieved to discover that it had nothing to do with either person's personality or character. I was, in fact, looking forward to telling her the good news. And then instead, I told Grapefruit, thinking that Grapefruit would know what to do with the information that I had given her. And it turned out she did not. She did not know what to do with that information. What that led her to do and such things, I'm still not certain. And I know that I don't need to harass her about it. Right? I don't need to get contact with that woman again so I can ask her annoying questions and make her cry. No. I'd like to help her stop crying. There's great news that nobody knows. I haven't revealed it yet. And this great news is being held back by the law enforcement officials who have decided that Michael Kuzi's sex life is something that they need to put, their ham-handed hands onto. Ham-handed hands, you like that? Yeah. So the way they've done that is not to get me, free therapy or to ask me how I'm doing. No, it's been to jam me up and try to entrap me in wave after wave of successively more grandiose and ridiculous Rube Goldberg scenes to get me to do something illegal. Turns out, though, I saw that coming. Okay. I know my rights and I know the law, and I know that the police have they have a right to protect the public and shit. But they also have a right to recognize that they've gone too far, right? And if I had complained to anybody ever about what had happened, or if there was solid evidence of it, most of these douchebags would be fucking sitting on death row. Okay. I never really wanted to snitch on anybody, so I'm not gonna. And I could cause a shitload of trouble just by calling the police and reporting certain things. They wouldn't even have to be true. Just the fact that I complained at all, because I haven't needed the police. The one time I needed police, the way that I called them was by getting behind Grapefruit and yanking on her ponytails, so she screamed and hollered, like yeah, because she had pigtails on, pigtails. Yeah, I like that hairdo, right? And at the time I was drunk. I had driven all the way down to Mount Rainier and drove. I was thinking about driving around Mount Rainier, but I didn't. I just drove down to this nice little town, and then I called her and to find out what the deal was, because as soon as I found out she was coming over across the water from the west side to the east side, I immediately drove south, taking a bottle of wine with me. Okay, I did this because I wanted it to leave an impression, and I didn't want to be there when she got there because I was pretty pissed. Okay, I'm not still pissed. And then I was also curious to see what would happen if I did what she told me she had experienced before with somebody else. I legitimately wanted to recreate a certain experience that she had had in the past so that she could heal from a dramatic reenactment, because apparently the other one didn't go so well. And at that point, it was apparent to me that I could see why somebody had tried to do an intervention on her. And I know why an intervention doesn't work, because I've been through drug treatment in my late teens, when Grapefruit was Christ only knows what. I was getting drug treatment. Okay, so although she knows a bit more about parenting and hanging out and laying traps, right? She knows a lot more about that kind of thing. I know a lot more about what my plan has been all along. Like, the entire reason why I got a Facebook girlfriend was not so I could incriminate myself on Facebook and end up in jail for a year. Because Facebook earlier today told me that I may know a certain person. And because I'm very cautious and super hyper vigilant, even though I probably could click on that button and add that friend and talk to that person and get away with it, I'm not gonna. For one thing, I don't want to ruin her close personal relationships that she's formed with other people, right? For another, I don't have anything to say to her at this time other than, hey, maybe you should get your court under control. See, I don't have enough context, and the situation is larger than both of us. If I could tell her what's going on, I would, but I'm disallowed from talking to her, and she would be very happy. I believe she would, to hear the stuff that I have to say. For one thing, I've made my peace with her secret Masonic husbands. I think 2 out of 3 we're good, and then the last one I'm going to slit his throat and take his place and cover my face in hieroglyphs drawn with its blood, and then shoot you with a tranquilizer dart and then rape you. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm not into rape. Besides, I'm pretty sure at this point there's not going to be any raping of Grapefruit, right? I'm pretty sure she's sorry. Okay, I'm pretty sure she doesn't need to be punished any further. However, it's not up to me. It's up to the court. The court's going to decide the fate of this woman. But in my case, I'm not mad at her at all. I have a pretty good idea of why she flipped out. Interestingly, the court hasn't asked me any more questions. They haven't done shit other than to persecute my life and look like total fools. Because lots of other people got deals. Why not me? Lots of other people do this. Why not that? This is a civil rights boondoggle of cosmic proportions. And the only reason why it hasn't exploded is because I haven't complained. And the reason why I haven't complained is I don't need any help to deal with you people. I'm a Titan. I'm a paladin and I serve God. I'm not asking for vengeance from anybody. I'm a pacifist. I didn't want things to get this far. And I guess nobody believed me. I guess nobody heard. Don't need money. Don't need sex. Don't need drugs. Don't need vengeance. What do I need? Oh yeah, I need to talk to my helpmate. You know, the one that I've been barred from talking to. You know, it seems a little odd to have this super duper restrictive lockdown, right? And then it seems even further odd to have some thuggy picky douchebag call me in a terrible voice and say, "You got to forget about her. Give up. Click." Okay, I really legitimately had a guy call me on the phone and try and scare me. He was obviously paying attention to me because he called right as I parked my truck and got up to the back door of the motel. 3.5 miles away from this house is a motel called the Mount St. Helens Motel. Hope you have a blast, right? And it appears to be owned and operated by a woman who just so happened to have the same birthday as my mother. How likely is that? Well, when you're dealing with the stagecoach town run by the company, it's pretty likely because all these people were hand-picked. Okay? When I went to jail, I wasn't kidding. It was planned from the beginning. And I don't know what Grapefruit might have thought was going to happen. She wasn't supposed to live through the night. Or she was going to be taken away and fucking put into sexual bondage to Captain Douchebag or whatever. And because of the choices I made, that didn't happen that way. And she's still alive. I don't care who doesn't want her alive. I want her alive, and so she is. And even if she did die, I would just simply go to a part of reality where she didn't, because I'm a time-traveling interdimensional sorcerer. I know that sounds grandiose, like a bullshit claim. That's why I make it. It's supposed to throw you off balance. The human mind goes, what? I don't understand. What's that? Well, maybe if I felt like it, I would explain in precise detail. But I can assure you, several people probably don't need to have it explained, right? They've seen some weird shit. And I'd like to point out that she was supposed to be dead, and I was supposed to be in jail, miserable, suicidal, and with no money. Kind of like some people used to be. And then instead, I'm having the time of my life being protected by the military while I do drugs and making my exes jealous. I didn't ask for this, okay? But I'm going to take it. There's some exes that I really want to have a whole big bunch of jealousy on. I never understood why anybody did that. It does feel good, but I don't see what kind of gain there is in forcing somebody to feel jealous, unless it's karmic retribution for people who wanted me to feel jealous. There was this woman who, when I met her, was a girl, and I liked her a bunch, but she was kind of arrogant. And she kind of thought that she was in charge, and she kind of was. And she kind of liked me mostly because I was easy to push around, she thought. She didn't realize just how easy I am to push around because she was at war with her own carnal desires. Something I've noticed is that the women of my generation are all mega turbo sluts, like heavy-duty, panting and sweating, want sex all the time, which is great for me since I'm much the same way. And I no longer want sex the way I did when I was a kid. I want it the way I do when I'm an adult, which is exactly the same way, except I have discipline. And as a Virgo, I've learned to really enjoy being a virgin, because compared to all these people, I am not technically a virgin, but there's lots of things I haven't done for. Like I haven't squirted meth up my butt, never. I understand that can be a procedure fraught with peril. For one thing, some people think it's illegal. Well, it probably is. But in my case, I'm mandated by law to squirt meth up my butt. Now, whether I do that with Grapefruit or somebody else, I guarantee you it's gonna be a female. Because if there's a guy, I don't want to squirt meth up my butt. If there's a guy there who knows how to do that kind of thing, well, we're just going to talk about various subjects that most people don't get to talk about. Because I can. I have a mandate of heaven to find out certain pieces of information. And the reason why is because children's lives are at stake. Now, I never wanted to be the protector of children at all. However, since there are children around who recognize that, hey, she's still alive, and hey, why is everybody mad at Jack? The children don't need to know why the parents are mad at Jack. The children just need to know that I'm thrilled that they're mad at me. Not the children, but the parents. And then when they're old enough, they're welcome to call me up and say, Jack, tell me the story. I'd be happy to. Yeah, the only reason why I wouldn't is because they're currently not of the age of majority. And it's up to their parents to decide whether or not they get to hear the actual story. And in the meantime, their parents are busy running around dealing with I don't know what, but I guess maybe she'd have listened to me earlier, right? There's some people who used to talk to me on the phone and used to act kind of smarmy and act like they knew something I didn't, and that I was gonna find out one day. Well, I always knew a number of things that I guess they assumed nobody would ever figure out, and it's not like I can't tell them. Like, why wouldn't I? I mean, is that like snitching? What is it? What's it called when you tell everybody that an undercover cop is an undercover cop? I would never do that, right? Never. But apparently, I don't know the difference between an undercover cop and a confidential informant, or a person who's insane and thinks they're time traveling and working for Time Corps. It doesn't really matter too much, because now that it's pretty much accepted canon that I've been raped as a minor, it's begun to change people's perception of the situation a little bit. For example, what's happening isn't all about just me. For example, I'm way over my girlfriend experience in high school, and I'm totally ready to explain to anybody that I went to high school with exactly what happened. I was prepared to before, but I didn't know, right? Since then, I've found out, and the best part of finding out has been that it took 25 years to do it, right? And the behavior of the person in question, it's a little odd, right? And I'm gathering that most of the people that I went to high school with are going to be glad for that, because apparently she pissed everybody off somehow. Not really sure how. I know how she pissed me off, right? But I don't imagine that she pissed everyone off. I think it was that she didn't turn out to be as effective at what she was supposed to do. And I don't know what the fuck she was supposed to do, because somebody told her it was a good idea to run game on me and steal my baby batter. And she didn't get to. But that's awkward, because I would have been happy to give her my baby batter. If somebody would have to pay for the children, but I could have been happily siring bastards and then give them. I wouldn't have minded. And instead, somebody else got that, and their project failed. Or if it succeeded, then they had a much narrower scope of victory than they would have otherwise, because I would have consented to something else. But because plans were made about me and my baby batter without asking for my consent, I basically have carte blanche when it comes to violating their consent. Not that I would ever take advantage of that, but I wasn't sure what else to do, and then somebody wasn't being honest with me about what was going on. And then somebody didn't actually know what was going on. And then somebody else showed up later, and then, damn, she was cute. She was really cute. And at the time, I didn't know what to do, because I was emotionally devastated because of what had happened. And I didn't want to tell anybody that I didn't know what had happened. All right? And nobody wanted to tell me, and they figured it would just work itself out. Well, it has worked itself out in a very unique way, you see. I didn't know the significance of astrology when I was growing up. Astrology isn't something a person uses to predict the future or to fool people. It's not charlatanism. It's just an alphabet. Hi. It's an alphabet to communicate ideas and concepts that are harder to get across than typical ones. For example, human behavior, or why people do things they do at the times they do. It's a symbolic instruction code that can be unlocked, and once it is, a person has a much easier time navigating certain aspects of society. For example, hiring employees or dating. Every time I ever applied for a job, they always had my birthday, right? But these days, ask somebody their birthday, oh, that's private. I don't disclose that, right? Like it's fucking private medical information. It actually is private medical information. Somebody's birthday can tell a lot about a person, especially to somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. And that would be me these days. Look, the barrier for entry to being a master of divination is quite low. I'm not sure why, but I think it's because the master diviners on the other planes of reality like to make mincemeat of the fools who think they're going to use that information to benefit themselves. Like Sylvia Brown is a good one. She apparently got tricked into using her powers for some kind of larcenous thing, and she got eaten alive or some shit. Miss Cleo, remember Miss Cleo? Probably not. She was a psychic on TV, and she was making too much money. She got shut down. I don't plan on doing any of that. Okay. I'm only a master of diviner because somebody left me alone in a haunted church for way too long. And the reason why they left me alone is because somebody lied to a bunch of people about something. And I'm not sure how many things they lied about, but I can tell you this. They lied about me, probably in the context of, oh, don't worry about him. He's just a lunatic. I'm still not a lunatic, but believe me, you, sir, you never are going to end with me. Never, never, never. You have inserted yourself in my life all the way to the hilt, and you've been playing the fool the whole entire time. That's not real impressive. It's really not. I guess working under cover of darkness and hiding in the shadows is what you usually have to do, but no longer. Right now you are spot lit. Okay, because enough people saw me dealing with that shit years gone by that anybody noticing is going to have a mysterious sense of deja vu. Hey, wait a second. This guy here, what's going on with him? What about that girl? Yeah, what about that girl? What about that woman? What about her? And how's she been? And what's been going on? I don't have a history of raping her, and I don't think she's going to be accusing me of that anytime soon. And then there's multiples of them. So while let's say there was 4 people here on Christmas, what about the other 13? How come none of them can talk to me? Well, I don't know why they can't, but I do know that no one has. And my communications have been monitored and restricted ever since. And I guess I wasn't supposed to notice this, but no, I saw it all in an intuitive flash. As soon as I heard whoever that was on the phone, line of dispatch, I instantly knew it was something coded because I didn't choke her. I've never choked her. She did try to use her magic and sorceral powers to compel me to do it. However, I'm immune to that garbage. They're apparently pretty impressive powers that apparently nobody had been immune to before. Because let me tell you something about magical power. Magic is just a fancy word that means we don't know how it works, but it works. And then I don't know how a woman was able to call the police multiple times and get them to fucking obey her the way she did. But I can tell you this, that woman, never going to happen again. That woman. She did it in 2 counties. She did it to me. And all she did was create a huge complicated disaster for everyone except me. So not only is there cleanup to do, but there's also the sudden arrival of a madman egoist who doesn't give 2 shits about any of this. It's like she accidentally created the Hulk, except I'm not the Hulk. I'm nice. Here's how nice I am. I didn't want to get a lawyer because I wanted to see how far I could get on my own. And now that I have, I still don't want to get a lawyer, but I may have to because there is so much money laying around ready to be scooped up in civil liability lawsuits for the way I've been treated that it seems downright criminal to just let it lay there. So I'm probably gonna look into that because my time has been wasted. Unless my whole purpose in life was to become phenomenally cosmically powerful. It wasn't. Okay. And when I say phenomenally cosmically powerful, well, I might be aggrandizing a little bit, but at least I'm not trapped in a hell of my own devising because I pissed off the wrong Hungarian. Okay. I don't know what anybody's going through, but they apparently aren't very happy. And that's okay with me. Most of the people who aren't very happy used to be really unhappy that I know of. For example, there's somebody who would like to talk to me, but they're afraid of what their friends or their family might say if they're known to be a close personal friend of Jackstar. I do have close personal friends that I'm currently not talking to. The reason why is because until I get the grapefruit situation under control, their lives are at risk. She's crazy, right? And she's a She's like River Phoenix. No, River Tam. I guess she's like River Phoenix. Okay, so they sent her to take me out, and I handled her like she was nothing, and she was their baddest ass weapon, and it was her and I, and actually it was me versus 4 of them. I still managed to come out on top. They sent in 13 guys with guns. They abducted me on Christmas Eve. I still managed to come out on top. I don't want to have this life, but it has been thrust upon me, and I must say it's much better than the alternative, which is being in jail and everybody thinks that I'm scum. People don't think I'm scum anymore. That's nice. They may think I'm a little weird and scary. That's okay. I am weird and scary. Here's what's really weird. The main source of happiness for me is that I actually want to go to my high school reunion if they ever have one again. If I'm invited, if I'm not, barred legally. The last time somebody told me that I should go, they said I should go and it would be a good time, and I openly scoffed at the notion. Now, however, I think it'd be a fine time. It'd be a great time. I have never, ever, ever answered any questions from anybody about the events of that time, and I don't know who is still going to care. I goddamn well know that people do care. I didn't realize how sensitive it was before. Wow, holy shit, really, wow. It's hard for me to describe in open terms to the general public, just how out of touch I was. But let's put it this way. I got a phone call from somebody after her dead father warned me psychically that I should start drinking and to hang up on her, which wasn't hard to do because by that time, that woman was completely infuriating. She seemed the most deluded and out of touch person I'd ever heard of, ever existing. And I think at that time she was, because she was under the impression that I wanted to have sex with her, that I wanted to breed her, that I wanted to penetrate her interior organs and deposit my seed. No. I was actually upset with her because she assumed that's all I was good for and didn't recognize other important things. And she also was too ego-driven and insipid to notice that she was getting trafficked. I didn't know the word for that back in the day, but that chick was getting trafficked. Now, I don't necessarily feel good about having left her alone with those cretins. However, I will say that woman really, really pissed me off. Really pissed me off. Number one, she tried to steal my baby powder. Number two, she tricked me into lying to her mother. And the reason why she did this was not cool. And the fact that I know this for certain has a lot to do with her mother being dead, and I'm in a haunted church. She says I'm doing fine, but yeah, it's a sad tale, and it is one that I shouldn't have to talk about in public. But ironically, I have no choice, given that I don't know where that person is, and she's pretending she's dead, and then sometimes she is. I guess she was a murder victim, but she comes back to life, and she's also looped in time, and she's not a mermaid from the Pleiades. She's I don't know what she is, okay, but I do know that was a real person. I've touched her boobs. I know she's real. I know that she's similar, but not identical to the Shaw woman. So there's definitely two of them. And then I have pictures of the other ones because I'm cool like that. So the usual convenient fiction is that, there's just one girl, and it doesn't matter if they have friends, and we're just going to hide them all. This is not working this time, which is good, because I don't like the way certain people have been, I'm going to say, kidnapped. I don't like that. And what's more, I definitely don't like the way certain people were imagining they were going to use my house, my trust, my name, my reputation, my boyish good looks, my handsome demeanor, as well as whatever the fuck. People thought they were going to use me. Guess again, fucker. You're not using me real well, are you? No. Do you remember So Sad? Did you remember that one? That was so sad, because I knew at the time that somebody had badly miscalculated. Because even if I'm going to say images, even if the images that were being pumped into my brain through Project Bluebeam and voice to skull technology, however it worked that I began to hallucinate somebody getting violently raped and strangled to death. What an odd thing to start visualizing, right? It must have been some sort of fantasy. It couldn't possibly be a real person, right? And then if that had been a real thing, I would be able to know in my psychic state, and I would be able to call the police and say, hello, yes, I just had a psychic vision. Yeah, my ex-girlfriend from high school, she was lying to me the whole time, and then for some reason she put herself in a vulnerable position, and then she just got herself killed. Yeah, somewhere in some state. Yeah, she's in another state. Well, how do I know this? Well, I guessed. Click. That's not exactly the kind of thing that a person can report. And then the sad part is, I'm real confident that it was something that somebody else had in mind because, well, for one thing, they seem to think that killing a person was a good idea, which I don't think it is. And then for another, they thought that I was going to be sad about it. And for a third, they thought they'd get away with it. Okay, number two, let's go with that one. I'm not sad about it at all. That woman is a stone-cold bitch and deserves to die. Not just because she's immortal and can come back to life anytime she chooses. She deserves to die because she did what? And never bothered to talk to me? Wow. She's either under some sort of heavy mind control spell or just the most arrogant bitch that's ever walked the face of the earth. Like, what that person did is outrageous. And I have never really talked to anybody about it. I don't really plan to yet. However, if anybody from my high school who's cute wants to hear all about it, they can offer to perform fellatio on me, and then I can tell them while they're doing that, I'll tell them exactly what happened in exquisite detail. And much to everyone's surprise, I'm really hard to make come. So they might be slobbering for a while, but it's a cool story. And I've never told a single person ever. No one's ever asked, but clearly people are interested and curious. Definitely now more than ever, considering what it's led to. And I don't have to make that person look good in the story. Although obviously there's something good going on, because why else would I have gone to all this trouble? Well, turns out the reason is because my baby batter is pretty precious, and then that person was tasked with stealing it and thought that she could, and then an intergalactic gang of baby batter thieves is being brought to justice. And I don't know if that's her exactly. It could be one of the three. And then, hey, in high school, did you know there's three of them? Did you know that? I know who they are, yeah. And then another one was supposed to be the person who was supposed to take over. She couldn't take over because something to do with the gay mafia, right? I got a phone call early in the morning when I was 15 or 16. Somebody called me up while I was sleeping and asked me a whole bunch of questions about other students in the school for no apparent reason, no discernible reason to me. And at the end of this hour-and-a-half conversation, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, I woke up from a sound sleep because the phone rang, and I talked to some stranger about personal details for like an hour-and-a-half. And then at the end of it, I said, well, why are you talking to me? And they said, well, there's nothing else to do while staying up all night smoking crystal meth. And then I hung up. And that was the first I'd ever heard of crystal meth. I didn't have a single clue what the difference was between meth and crystal meth, or didn't even know what meth meant. No one told me. Didn't have to deal with that one. I was still stuck on the way weed was supposedly bad, but Budweiser was good. I was right about that one. I knew there had to be something kind of funny going on. And when I looked into it, I was called names that were, rude. I was looked at poorly by society. And now, I'm 50, people are doing the exact same thing, just for a different chemical compound. In case you haven't noticed, your opinion is bullshit, right? And as it happens, I wouldn't like to keep on doing what I'm doing. However, for reasons which I could go into but will not, I'm forced into this lifestyle. And I'm confident that if I were to explain myself, anybody would agree. Certainly a jury of my peers, if you could even find them. Now, speaking of juries, turns out they don't have to use 12 people for a jury anymore. Now they can just use 6. Turns out they can do this. Turns out they can do that. Turns out the legal system can be rigged in a number of ways. And in my case, it certainly was. However, apparently somebody rigged it better than that. because I'm not kidding. One phone call from me, and a shitload of people can get arrested for child rape. That's all I got to do. Now, I don't know how many of them, but my entire high school alumni who heard of me is to some extent accomplices, either before or after the fact, because there was 3 of them, and then one of them wasn't 16. No. And even if she was still older than me, and the maliciousness that a certain person displayed, certainly some people know, right? Now, they certainly know more than me, okay? But remember, there's more than one of them, so it's hard to say exactly what kind of story everybody had. I don't know, but whatever story they had before, it was good enough to let me, coast on down the road, not realizing that I was my self-made Trojan horse, really. It never occurred to me that it would be 25 years later that I would get the answer, and that the answer would be what it was. I didn't think about it. I just saw a person deliberately being a big pain in the ass and thinking she was going to get away with it. And I had no idea why. Right? I was concerned because I didn't hate the person, and I knew that they didn't know what they were doing. I figured they had to have been getting pressured by others. Definitely the case, pressured by others. But also, on top of that, she's also just a real fucking bitch. Real fucking bitch. I don't blame her. I mean, I'm a bastard, whatever. I applaud and admire those characteristics in her. But they were pointed very poorly in my direction. Somehow I offended somebody. Somehow I pissed somebody off. Somehow I got somebody angry. And instead of a gentle, welcoming experience, I was forcibly sent on my way to a place where most people would consider it to be hell. However, I realized at a young age, most of the people in my school system were assholes that I would rather see lying dead by the side of the road as I would an animal. If they were on fire, I wouldn't stop to piss on them and piss them out. If they were on fire, I wouldn't stop to piss on them to put them out. I could list off some names of people who I might have forgiven them, but they're assholes. There's this one guy, he was actually threatening with his truck to run me over in the high school parking lot, smiling. He was like behind the wheel, and he was lunging the truck forward as I walked in front of his truck, as if he was going to run me over. And I noticed he had his girlfriend in the cab with him. I didn't pay too much attention to her because I was busy staring at the guy who was threatening to kill me. Wasn't sure if he was going to try or not, and I wasn't really sure if I cared. And I thought to myself, what the fuck kind of a... So this girl, does she suck his dick? He's threatening to kill somebody with his truck. Is this cool? Is this what women think is cool? Well, I don't really know what women think is cool. Whatever their fucking man with the dope, I guess, tells them to think is cool. I can't wait to explain a whole bunch of stuff, because just because I'm over it doesn't mean I can't tell a good story. There's a few people who should have told me other stories than what they did, and as a courtesy, I'm going to not single them out first. For one thing, that house party that ended up in a blow up, I always wondered, like, wow, why did your house get trashed? Oh, well, I got some kind of idea now. Yeah, and then you guys meant well, but you didn't really actually ask me what I was doing, and then it might be too late now. Anyway, I had a plan the whole time, and I don't know what you guys' plan was, but I'm curious who's still going to be around when I get there. I'm curious if you're going to be having security to keep me away. I'm curious who's going to be willing to admit that they want to know what's going on. And then I'm real curious about anybody who's not going to like me, because I'm ready to punch a bitch out. Boom. Pacifist? Yeah, sure. Violence means the last option. Well, it'll be the last option for a couple of people. I'm not going to say who, but let's put it this way. I can't hit girls, but if a guy says something smarmy in front of a whole bunch of people, I know how to punch him and not kill him. Grapefruit taught me that. I know that some people deserve to be punched. Oh, definitely. Oh, my God. I'm not sure exactly who, since I don't know exactly what happened. But I do know that nobody reached out, except one person. And the reason why I didn't reach back is because, to tell the truth, it would have been awkward, right? It would cause problems, because I would have said, I haven't been talking to you because of this reason and this reason. And by the way, this person did this, and I'm kind of bent up about it. And then the person I'm thinking of would hear me say that, and they would be like, "What? They did what?" And I said, "Yeah, that's what happened." And then they would flip the fuck out and start a blood feud. I'm sure. Yeah, I didn't want to make things worse in high school. It was already bad enough. For one thing, y'all deserved, I don't know what, but y'all thought that it was going to be a great idea to do what you did, and then thought it would work. It didn't work. Okay. I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but I did not have sex with Kathy. I did eventually have sex with a woman named Kathleen, but no Kathys, K or C. There was Casey with K or C. That one tried and failed to get me on the hook for child support. I'm not sure what the deal is with getting men to be paying for child support, but y'all bitches need to stop fucking doing that shit. Like, it's fraud. And then that's not how you're supposed to raise children. And then it makes you a whore. Okay? And I would have been happy to have given out children willy-nilly to anybody who wanted to pay for them. But apparently I was supposed to work and struggle, and I was supposed to be the bearer of this as if I wanted my genes to promulgate. Okay, well, I didn't. I still don't. I'm not interested in having a child right now. And then if I were to have a child, it's going to be a fancy steak dinner just to bring the subject up without me laughing openly in your face, right? I don't have the same kind of drive to reproduce as a regular human does. For one thing, I'm not a human anymore. I'm Titan. It might as well be superhuman to you. So let's just say I'm an alien. Let's just say I'm an extraterrestrial. Yeah, let's just say that. Sure, because I might be. I'm not really sure how it works. Which planet are you on? I don't know. Why don't we go see a movie about multidimensional travel, and then we can talk about it afterwards while we get pie. Except nobody wanted to take me to that movie. I could see why, given that there's some questions about my marital status, which didn't really make much sense to me until fairly recently. People are genuinely scared. And that's fine, because I was scared too. And I didn't want to do the wrong things, so I just erred on the side of caution, and it worked out great for everybody. I mean, it might not seem that it's great for all of you, but it's great for me. And by extension, it's great for you, because I wouldn't want anything to ruin this fucking magical day of delightment and excitement. So there's this person, right? What a bitch. And she lied to me, and now she's suffering. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not in trouble or anything. And then if they want to complain about it, they're welcome to. They could sue me. Sure, I'd be happy to go out into open court and explain the whole details. They're kind of hoisted by their own petard. There's nothing they can do except hang out with covens and cast death spells, I guess, because apparently that's on offer. Except I got shields, so I got a defense against that. The only thing I don't have a defense against is being forced to admit that I still love a certain person, which will be awkward, because if the whole thing comes out, she'll undoubtedly go to prison. Undoubtedly, because the phylactery has to be imprisoned, and then the angel will get her wings clipped and be thrown into a eternal darkness hole with me, and then she'll be forced to do whatever it is that her soul wants to be done that she hasn't ended up doing. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I can assure you I don't give a rat's ass about getting my dick sucked. It's not that big a deal, and I resolved it earlier. And then if I were to have my penis serviced that way orally, I would pick anybody except her or her. I might pick Amber, maybe, but I wouldn't really want to go against the deal that I made to MV. Dave, who I guess, is he gay now? Oh, I guess that's what happens when a person uses a shitload of that chemical compound that has some side effects. And then the MVs that aren't Dave, who are they again? Maybe there's Biff or something. Anyway, I know all kinds of things about your corporate social structure there, Belgab, that I didn't know before, and I know now, just because I've had a lot of time in my hands to think about it, while you've been running around thinking that I'm going to be neutralized. I'm anything but neutralized. Okay, I'm living in this house. This is a cool place. I can see why it was the very last one offered to me, and I can see why everybody thought I was going to die here. I'm not dying. Like the poisoned water is an issue, but it's not killing me. And then I could just go to a neighbor's house and shower, except the neighbors are all douche masters. Well, not really. I mean, people are cautious. People are on guard. People thought I was retarded or something, and I'm not. I'm just very thorough when it comes to making my intentions known. There's this friend of mine. She apparently can't talk to me so much, but that's probably okay for her because she's able to ask questions and talk in a way that she wasn't before. Because I noticed that her brain was turned off, and that didn't suit me, so I turned it back on. And the reason that I could do this is because, number one, I genuinely love her. Number two, somebody had not understood what the purpose of those chemicals is for. And then number three, they were violating her everything. Okay. Now, she probably deserved it, right? Because I'm pretty sure this woman is the future reincarnation of a woman who probably ended up getting killed in the 90s. I'm not sure when that woman dies, but I do know that she does die eventually, as we all do. But specifically in her case, because after I had given up thoughts of her, I found myself in a relationship with somebody who looked like her, and they refused to comment on that resemblance in any significant way. And her spirit revealed to me that she had been murdered in the future and went back in time to that present with me, so that I would help her do whatever. Like I don't really pay much attention anymore to that woman, live or dead. But she was definitely in spirit form, right? She was definitely popping in and out of bodies, and she was definitely dead when I saw her appear as an apparition in this house. She, I don't know if she stepped through a portal or what, but she was a ghost, or not a ghost. She was a projection, a holographic projection from heaven, created with the help of this mirror they got there and Archangel Metatron. And I knew she was dead because I recognized her right away, and I totally wanted to fuck her. Oh my God! But she was dead. Also, I wanted to see how long I could withstand the temptation, because apparently there had been some discussion about the mad, unruly beast that I was. Right? No, I wasn't, and I didn't really think that the whole thing was a setup, but I assumed that it probably was from the very beginning. People don't just suddenly show up and start being nice to me, right? I mean, that's not my experience. My experience is that everybody kind of barely tolerates me, and anybody who pretends to like me is pretty easy to pick off. People who actually like me, I've sort of gotten an ability to notice who those people are, but when I was growing up, I had no conception of how to figure out somebody liked me. None. I also didn't have gaydar. Now that I'm a mother, go Bears, I have gaydar now, which is cool. Gaydar is nice. I like having gaydar. I'm astonished at the damage that's been done to my reputation amongst the gay community. But that's probably for the best, because anybody who believed all that bullshit without, noticing the obvious fucking scam deserves to be afraid of me, because they're stupid and I'm smart. And I could be happy to teach them how to be smart, but they don't have to suck my dick for it. They just have to pay attention and realize that I don't care about them. I mean, a lot of people who are gay are flaming egoists, let alone flaming homosexuals. Somebody who's that much in love with themselves, like, sure, I'm not surprised they become sex addicts. And those chemicals that you've been using for years without inviting me to your parties, turns out they were designed to fuck up your shit. That's why everybody's got a gambling problem. There's this woman who's unable to perform normally anymore, And so when she's talking to me and she becomes sexually aroused, instead of doing anything normal, she starts talking about food or gambling or whatever, and doesn't know why, and has no idea that it's her penance for doing what she did to me earlier in life. Most people don't expect to be still friends with me 20, 25 years later, especially that one. That one, I don't know what story she heard, but it would depend on where she came from. And then I didn't find out her father was a computer scientist for years, and then I never met him. And then when I finally did meet him, he was scared of me because I don't know why, but I guess he thought that I was a danger to his daughter. Turns out no, she was the danger to me. That's why I called the police. And then she ran because she was doing something wrong. She knew it. That's why I'm not concerned about her claiming that I raped her, because I didn't. I think she's been raped since then, and knows what raping is. But when I had sex with her, there was perhaps seduction, but she seduced me. That was back and forth. There was no rape, and I didn't know that she was on drugs. But if she was, that would explain the demeanor. And then why was she? Why does she get to have those, and I don't? Because apparently somebody had enough drugs to fuck her up good years back, and that's too bad. But I can see why somebody did that to her. What a bitch! Like a woman who would deliberately go on a date with somebody knowing that the plan was to report him for rape later. Apparently that was an idea that at least 3 people had back in the 90s. It was a different time before 9/11. Anyway, I'm not mad at them at all. But that's the kind of thing that, I could report. I don't need to really report it, though. For one thing, I mean, I forgive them. For another, they didn't actually go through with it. For a third, the punishment that the divine has handed down on these women, it's sufficient to me. In fact, it's too good. I'm enjoying it too much. Like there's a woman who used to tease me, and now I'm not deliberately teasing her, but she can't come over to my house and threaten me because she's no threat to me. And then she used to threaten people. She used to throw her weight around. She used to have special privileges and ranks, and then she used to take advantage of them. And then somebody really didn't like that she did that and committed a terrible atrocity upon her. That sucks. And I'm glad that I've been able to become a person that can help her with that. It took me a while to notice what was going on since she didn't tell me the truth. But I remember she was on the phone crying about the horrible mess she had made of her life. She did make a terrible mess. And ironically, if I had just simply known the situation, I would have given her tons of children. That would have been fine with my mother. She would have been happy as a clam. And then I don't know about my father, but he was a drunk who killed my sister, so whatever. And then this girl, she had some sort of weird idea that because she liked me, that meant that I belonged to her. I think they call that in the business. They call that entitlement issues. Anyway, she's not entitled to me, right? And then I'm fond of her, but not in the same way. And then I guess I agree with her now because she told me that she wanted to wait until our parents were dead before we had sex, which didn't make much sense at first. But now I get it. Whatever the deal is with this woman and her parents, it's awkward, right? And then I don't know what the hell this person thought after our first date, but she apparently went home, and I don't know what story she told her father, but it took that father a long time to come face to face with me. And I like him, kind of. I like him less now because he took it upon himself to brace me on his front lawn at his house where his daughter lives with him. And he told me in very loud and strident terms that I was not to give her crystal, which was amazing since I hadn't planned on giving her crystal. And everyone else had done crystal with her, so what was different about me? And from the look on his daughter's face, I could tell that she was fairly embarrassed. Because the simple fact of the matter is, if somebody's given her crystal, it's not me. And if this man imagined that he was going to intimidate me or scare me by shouting at me on his front lawn. He was in for a rude awakening because I didn't care about doing crystal with his daughter before. Now, I can see why she wanted to wait for him to be dead. Sir, your daughter and I are going to fuck on your grave. We're going to slam up right on top of the fucking headstone, and then I will plow her right on top of your casket. I'll do it. You know why? She'll ask me to. Yeah, she's a freak. I can tell that she probably wouldn't like hearing this said on the airwaves now, so I'm going to do it anyway. And she probably doesn't listen to this. And then when she hears it, she'll probably act like it's a terrible idea. You know, she'll virtue signal. But deep down inside, she'll think it's fucking awesome. Because I don't know what you do to her, but dude, you're not doing the right thing at all. And then yelling at me in front of your neighbors. Okay, well, number one, you gave the wrong impression to your neighbors because I don't give crystal to your daughter. In fact, I've never done drugs with your daughter. I'm not sure why, but the people that did drugs with your daughter, those are still there. They're still encircling her. I don't know what they're doing, but they're certainly not taking advantage of her sexually, or maybe they are. I don't know. It's not my area. She's my friend. And this friend's father apparently had the wrong idea about exactly who did what to whom. She violated me, and then I was terrified, so I called the police. I'm not terrified anymore, but only because now I know what to do with those emotions. And a lot of that had to do with lack of oxygen. See, I didn't have the power and the motive force to know what I was doing with my sexual characteristics. And then I didn't know that she was trying to get me to do things without her having to ask for them. I didn't understand the dynamic at all. And then I couldn't figure it out without oxygen. Now that I have oxygen, I get it now. I understand. Now that I'm older, I can understand. And that woman who has been touched by angels for certain, she really wants to have an experience with me that she hasn't had. As a Virgo, I completely understand. Now, I don't know what compels her into it, right? But now that her father has revealed to me certain key pieces of information that I don't think he was aware that he was revealing to me. Now that I know that she wants to and she feels guilty about it, and she wishes that she had done things differently because now, I guess there's complications, right? And so now her father thinks that I'm like, that's a problem. Okay, so I'm not sure why I would be the problem, but apparently the other people that do that and did that, that's okay with him. All right, well, this is a recipe for disaster in the making. I've been tempted to call CPS and say, hey, my friend's 44, and she's kind of retarded. She got some brain damage because, I would never, but I can see why somebody wanted to beat the shit out of her, so they kind of gave her some brain damage. Anyway, she's living with her dad, and he's a real asshole, and you should probably check into what they're doing because it doesn't seem like it's working out very well for her. And he knows that I want to have sex with his daughter, and then she would like to have sex with me, but she's kind of afraid of telling people the truth. And then she knows that I'm going to tell the truth because I love telling the truth. And she knows she can't control me because as much as I like her, I'm not really into the notion. Now I'm more excited about embarrassing her father. Now, how fucked up is that? It's relatively fucked up. It's a natural, rational response to the situation, but it's not normal. I mean, ideally, boy meets girl, they fall in love, they have sex, children. Okay, it's not supposed to be boy meets girl, and then boy is largely indifferent and confused by the machinations of the girl and her mewling coterie of friends, and then doesn't meet her father for 25 years, and then within a very short period of time pisses him off, and then decides that torturing him is way more fun than banging his daughter. So far, yes. I mean, banging the daughter hasn't been that much fun, ever, which I always thought was kind of weird. Weird. What's going on here? Why is this weird? Oh, well, number one, oxygen. Number two, I guess everybody else, she just, wanted the free drinks and dates or something, but me, she actually has special feelings for her. I don't fucking know. This woman has gotten no appropriate medical care for years. And then on top of that, they were under a misapprehension of events. I never attacked that woman at all. And then she invited me to a motel one time, or a hotel, whatever the fuck. It was years ago. She invited me there as if we were going to have sex. And when I got there, we didn't have sex. And she wouldn't explain what was going on. She just sat on the bed, crossed-legged, crossed her arms and glared at me. And then we didn't have sex, right? And then previous to that, we had a succession of dates that didn't go very well, which was odd. And then that one was the last straw. Like, are you trying to bait me into? Are you trying to get a rise out of me? And I guess she was. And she was, I guess, disappointed that she couldn't get me to do that. However, this person didn't realize that she could have gotten me to do that. She just had to have explained that was what she wanted to do. And I guess she didn't want to say that out loud because she knew she was being recorded. And I guess she didn't want to tell me that she was recording because she wanted to get laid and she wanted to put me in jail. Clearly, the best of both worlds for her. I don't think she's going to ever do that again, because after that was when somebody did something to her that left her kind of fucked up. And I don't know how fucked up, but fucked up enough that she called me and she cried about it. And then 12 years later, she was still like mentally deranged from it. I wonder what the fuck was going on. I figured there had to be something. But then again, knowing the girl as I did, it didn't surprise me that somebody did that to her. I mean, I was surprised myself. Why am I not killing this girl? Oh, because I'm a nice person and I like her. And I don't know what she's doing, but it was very, very ill-advised, because if she had said, hey, come down here and let me frame you for a rape, and then we won't have sex, but I'll just put you in jail, I would have said, no thanks, I won't come down there. But instead, she went to the trouble of actually getting a place and then arranging the room to like be the way it would be that would happen. And then she expected me to give in to her feminine wiles. I don't know if any of you have noticed or picked up on this. I don't tend to give in to feminine wiles or masculine wiles. I don't tend to give in to wiles. I'm fairly cogent. And so if I'm going to give in to something, I'm just going to pretend it's not there. There's something fishy about this, but I'll just blend her in. It's kind of the Taurus way. And I knew it was pretty unlikely that she was actually wanting to have sex, because it turned out she didn't really like having sex unless she was on the kind of dope that makes a person like cock, and that she was probably going to be groomed to be a lesbian. That turns out that's what happens when these chemicals are abused. I'm not sure if it's part of God's design, but amphetamine addiction is kind of a self-solving problem. A person either dies or they become enslaved to the gay mafia, because as you know, the gay mafia controls ruthlessly the doling out of party time chemicals, which makes sense. I mean, they certainly need every advantage they can get. But here's what happens if a person takes a whole bunch of ecstasy, for example, and has sex a lot. They start to hate cock, and they gravitate towards lesbian relationships, because that's what the chemical's supposed to do over time. It creates a initial rush of happiness that a person gets from sex, and then that fades, and then it's left with a feeling of distaste and disgust for the opposite sex, which obviously is the purpose of destroying a population with drugs. Now, I know this because I've read books, and also in my life I've noticed, hey, hot girl. Well, you had lots of fun, and now you don't want cock at all. Well, that makes sense, yeah. I mean, I don't mind, right? I'm not like desperately trying to enforce my will on women who don't like penis. In fact, apparently that was the rumor back in the day, that I was broken up with because I couldn't handle gays. That not the case at all. I would have made a marvelous beard if I hadn't pissed everybody off. And then I'm also not very easily controllable, and I'm smart. I mean, I'm not pure smart sometimes, but if you leave me alone and let me watch you long enough, I'll figure out what you're doing. I never wanted to talk to any of those people ever again. Ever. I thought I would never, ever go to a high school reunion. Now, kind of looking forward to it. Not to make too big of a scene, but whoever the fuck is harboring a secret crush on old Michael Cusi, I'm happy to engage in any kind of sexual fantasy, because I can now. Before I couldn't. Now I could. Now I don't have to. I'm not obsessed by it. I'm certainly not going there to pick up tail. I don't think I'd have to. When I came to this town where I moved to, I saw a woman who looked just like somebody that I went to high school with, who came and hit on me for reasons unclear. I think this was because there was hope that they could get me away from the grapefruit situation before it exploded. But what nobody realizes is that I wouldn't have missed that for nothing. I mean, for one thing, I love the woman. For another, I would have left long ago, except for the children that would be left behind. And also, I was kind of interested in succeeding in what I was trying to do. And then I could tell that nobody thought that was going to happen. Yeah. Funny thing about drug addicts, they're not real on the ball, right? And of course, they assumed that I was, and then I made sure to look like a relapsing faggot by being a total ass after being ignored for 3 years. Like, I still can't believe it. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck did you think would happen? Holy shit. 3 goddamn years. Huh. All right, well, I mean, I don't know what's to come in the future, but I must say, I don't need to keep doing this for another 3 years. But because somebody lied to me about something, and because somebody else killed my cat, and then somebody else told jokes about it, and then somebody else thought that was a joke too, I'm happy to not do anything other than this crap. This stuff is crap, and it's very, very dangerous, especially to people who don't know how to read the instructions or have access to them, or the kind of time and wherewithal it takes to puzzle things out. The reason why I'm still here and I'm not a raging fucked off mess is because I'm not abusing drugs. Use and abuse. To abuse drugs, well, some people like to do that. I don't. I don't even like to use them. I do like to be able to. Okay. So to find out that somebody was doing shitloads of drugs for 3 years while I wasn't, and that I wasn't invited because reasons, I'm still taken aback. I still can't wait to have certain conversations with certain people and say, now, what were you really thinking? Because I'll tell you and you can tell me, and it'll be, happy times, kumbaya by the fire. I certainly meant no damage to anybody. And now that I've discovered that people have been damaged, it's exactly like I felt when I heard from my friend that she had been assaulted in some way. Wow, what a surprise! I mean, if she was gonna pull the shit that she pulled on me, I wondered what else she would pull on other people, and then she would come to find out one day that not everybody was as nice as I am. Oh no! I think a lot of women have been killed by that exact circumstance. I would never, right? And then I didn't, need to warn her. I wasn't her keeper. I assumed she had friends. I assumed she had a family. Well, it turns out her family was exploiting her, and then her friends were idiots who gave her the worst advice possible. Oh yeah, get him on the phone and call him a rapist. Okay, and then why years later this mattered to somebody who got on the phone with me and was asking me about my desire for vengeance or my rape fantasies. I don't have rape fantasies. I still don't. Apparently, other women have fantasies about me raping them, which just blows my mind. Like they'd rather fantasize about being raped by me than actually just have sex with me by asking. Because here's why: deep down, they think I'm blick. They think I'm awful. They think I'm degenerate, and they feel guilty about how badly they want my semen, which they shouldn't. I mean, it's clearly the most potent around. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm fertile. If I weren't, I think women wouldn't be coming around for miles. And there would have been no problem with me having tons and tons and tons of kids, except for number one, somebody had to pay for them, and I don't pay for shit. And number two, the other boys would be envious because I guess they wanted to reproduce their stupid little fucking genomic expressions. I don't want to reproduce yet. And if I die without having children, that's okay. My childhood was traumatic and horrific. long before high school. And now that I've looked back on my 50 years in life, I'm still perfectly happy not having actual physical children. I did spawn a royal changeling, and I'm a mother, but that's not my child, right? I didn't put my semen in a woman and then produce a baby. Or if I did, they didn't tell me about it, which is probably making it real hard to collect Social Security benefits. But anybody who would want to steal my baby spunk and create a cloned line of Michael Koozies without permission probably was not too happy when it didn't work. I don't think anybody would do that, though, right? No. But nevertheless, I denied somebody the possibility of doing that. And then I wouldn't have if they had just simply told me the truth. But I guess they thought I was not able to handle it or something, because they knew so much more about me than I knew. I remember being told that they knew me better than I knew myself. They were all smiling and grinning about it. At some point, that's going to wear off, right? I don't know when, but I do know that I'd much rather see, any one of 5 or 6 women from high school than see that chick again, ever. For one thing, the rest have been patiently waiting. For another, that other one has had plenty of chances. For a third, I think she probably is dead. For a fourth, if she's not dead, she's a vampire or something. She's some kind of an ancient lich queen or some kind of shit. And the one that's like regular old human, she thinks I'm gross, or she thinks I don't do what I'm told or something. She thinks that she's better than me because she's a racist. And apparently hasn't figured out yet that I think that's funny. And then I knew that I didn't have to have sex with her when I met her. I would still be fond of her. I'm still very fond of her. And I'm surprised she hasn't sued me yet. And then I'm surprised this state of affairs is being allowed to continue. I'm even more surprised that nobody told me about the existence of this person for a really long period of time. It wasn't just the one thing that I wasn't told about for 3 years. It was a whole bunch of stuff that I was kept deliberately in the dark about because I don't know why, actually. I guess some people have a fucking death wish. I can assure you, my father's guns are cursed. Whoever took them, if they don't have permission to have them, bad things will happen. If somebody steals those guns and then does something with them unlawful, woe will be told. They'll not have a good time. And I will not have to be concerned about being held responsible for that because in this particular circumstance, I can't believe that they were allowed to get that far away. And then, by the way, where's my wedding fork? Yeah, where'd that go? And then where's that? Where's the pink tote? And then why am I a fuckface? And why has that guy got anything to do with my life? And why does he think that he can get in my face in public and act like he knows jack or shit more than me? What makes him superior to me? What? Is it that big bulge in his pants? Or is it all the guns that he carries? Or is it his faith in Jesus Christ? Or is it that he's fucking all these women that I used to think were cool, but now that they've been inside him, I don't fucking know. I'm not sure, but these people seem to have forgotten that I wasn't impressed in the first place, and then I'm not going to be impressed later. I don't care who is having sex with that woman. I don't care who's having sex with Grapefruit. And Allison Francis Shaw, I don't know which one has the no contact thing. So in an abundance of caution, I'm not contacting any of them. But there's got to be at least 17 of them. I've got pictures of them. And it seems odd that for a year and a half, not only has the one not cocked me, but none of them have reached out to me. And if that's because they're dead or ordered not to or prevented or what, I don't know. But there's some guy who's on record, both phone records and on YouTube, leaving snide comments, as well as the SMS network, being a little thuggy piggy douchebag fuckhead, telling me not to talk to her. Jack, don't do that. Like, dude, that's not your job. And if it is, you need to be fucking fired. And you should probably be sued. Like, I could sue that guy without even calling the police. I could just file right now. Boom. I don't know his name exactly, and I don't know exactly what the lawsuit would entail, and I'd be foolish to do such a thing without getting a lawyer. But I'm not going to threaten to sue him. I don't need to sue that guy. God's given him punishment all day, and it's not for me to say just how much punishment that guy should get, but definitely something, because he told me that I should forget about the person that I loved for a long time, and that I wasn't in control of the situation. Well, neither was he. And then rather than call the police and say, this guy took my girlfriend and ran, that's not even what happened. But what he did do was sit here in this house for months and didn't come over to the motel and give me my nebulizer. Didn't do this, didn't do that. Didn't think he had to, right? I don't know exactly what happened at all, but I do know that I don't care how many times anybody got fucked. I don't care who raped who. I don't care. I don't need vengeance for that. I don't, because the satisfaction that I've gained knowing that certain things were true and nobody wanted to tell me is the fucking funniest fucking thing. The funniest fucking thing I've ever fucking seen in my whole fucking life. It is, I'm gonna say it. It's awesome. Oh my God. And I cannot wait to tell somebody. It'll have to be somebody who asks, right? They don't have to be sucking my cock while I tell them the story. I wouldn't mind, right? And I would definitely want that long before that woman puts her hands on my junk ever again. Some of the Shaw people, most of them, I guess, I'm still very fond of. But until I can identify which is which, there's a couple of them that I just as soon see them fucking in fucking prison for life. Oh God, especially the one. Oh God, the one who told me that I was hot but really dumb, and she said it was too bad that I was dumb, and she told me that she was sapiosexual, and she asked me if I knew what that meant, and I literally stood there with slack-jawed amazement, thinking to myself, this woman thinks I'm hot but thinks I'm dumb. I mean, no, how was I dumb? I guess she thought I didn't see what was going on. But actually, I did see what was going on. And then when I came to the house and found praying mantises, I knew what that meant. And then she later on brought that up as more evidence of me being stupid. Like, this is praying mantis. Don't you know what that means? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I know exactly what that means. It means you're the drone queen that's supposed to chop off my head after you mate with me. And then that didn't happen, though, did it? No. I don't love people because I have sex with them. I love people because I love people. And that one either killed my friend or was my friend or both. I'm not sure how that works out. Turns out that my friend from the future, her spirit came back not to really get me to, avenge her death and all. She didn't really think I was going to be able to do anything. I guess nobody else wanted to help her because, of course, somebody killed her. She's a bitch. Fuck. I can't believe she lived as long as she did. And I don't know if she did live that long. I think she killed herself several times and kept coming back, since that's kind of the way it works for some people. I'll tell you what she doesn't do is she doesn't talk to me, right? And then I'm good not having sex with her, right? I'm a Virgo, sign of the Virgin. I could die not having sex with anyone ever again and probably be okay with that. Not really though, because there are people who are genuinely wondering, like, why can't I have a turn, right? I'm not owned property. The reason why I'm not having sex right now is because it's way more amusing to withstand the pressures, and then eventually I will be happy to have sex, and it'll be worth the wait. And then those who want me to have sex in a hurry seem to be in the camp where they would profit in some way. Like, for example, if I inadvertently spread a disease, then they could bust me for that. If I were to be killed in a fit of jealous rage when somebody burst in on me and stabbed me in the back because they couldn't handle seeing me with another woman, I guess there's at least two ex-lovers that conceivably could be used as the story cover for that to happen. But at this point, I mean, the company could just hire an assassin and kill me, and then if they have all the pieces in place, they could. Well, they can't anymore, but they at one point they could have pulled it off, because nobody really cared about me before. But now that they've discovered that I don't abuse drugs, I've been carefully watching over somebody's revenge plan for several years. And then my own revenge plan, I already took care of that. I don't need revenge at all. I've made my peace with the people from the past. I'm not even mad at JR, dude, not mad at you. I'd love to talk to you about something. Not too soon, though, because I guess it's a very delicate matter, some of the things. But I could figure out what you were pissed off before, and then I don't hold any resentments against you. Scott, what's his name? Scott Powell. That was the guy's name. He was in his truck, and he was trying to act like he was going to run me down, and he had his girlfriend in the truck with him, and he was showing off by threatening the life of a child who had been raped to impress his girlfriend. Now, I want to know what that girl thinks these days. Like, does she still think that's a cool thing, or does she realize that that's gross? Did she suck his dick before or after? Did watching him lunge his truck forward and grin as he imagined running me down, did that make it easier to perform fellatio on him, or did it make it mandatory? I'm just kind of curious. I don't know if I'll ever see these people again. But a long time ago, I would have been afraid to run into the Scott Powell again. Oh, he was a bully. Okay, not really afraid because of, for myself. I'm afraid because I might accidentally kill him. Oh, you. Pooh! Because I'm not really concerned about not breaking his head. But I don't think he's going to be making any threats. Plus, I don't know if he's mad or anything. But, maybe he's mad because I just said his name. I don't give a fuck. If he doesn't like it, he can sue me. And then if he doesn't like it, he can go, why don't you call me up, man? We can fight in the street. I've never been big on fighting. I still am not. And then I haven't been punched too many times. But the last time, didn't care for it. Didn't care for it at all. And then I'm pretty sure I know how to break somebody's leg without getting busted for it. It's hard to say. I haven't been attacked physically for real in so long. I don't know what would happen if one guy came at me. But no longer am I in the mood to just go, oh, well, I'll just try to avoid conflict, and then I'll come back later with the master plan. No, I'm ready to break my hand on somebody's skull, although I don't really want to. I met a friend of mine. He's a pugilist. He explained to me the pure simplicity of beating the shit out of somebody in a way that finally got through to me. And I realized, oh, okay, well, I could do that then. Now, I'm not training to beat anybody up. I'm not lifting weights. I'm kind of looking kind of fat. The reason for this is I don't want people to get nervous. And if I were to bulk up and get big and have muscles, yes, ladies, I'm sure I would be much hotter then, but I would also be much more likely to be judged to be a threat by physical type dudes. Right? And I'm not really down with that right now. Perhaps in the future, sure. And then I was with that woman for how many years? I kept asking her to exercise with me, and she wouldn't. Now, when I tell this to a therapist, they're going to put that down on a little piece of paper, and then they're going to tell all their little therapist buddies, and they're going to say, hey, we should look into this, because one of those Shaw women, she's on the hook for something, I don't know what, but she's probably going to have to, stop using drugs. I don't know which of them is an incorrigible addict, but one of them, at least one of them is, probably two. And I think it's unfair that they get to keep on using drugs while I am supposedly not going to. Fuck, they get to do it. Why not me? I'd love to know why this difference in the enforcement protocols. Why do those two gals get to do whatever the fuck they want, while I have had to scrabble and scrimp and just be fucked off for my whole life until now. One time I had to be sent to a parking lot to wait for 3 hours while people laughed at me. 3 hours in a parking lot. There was no reason for making me wait. They just wanted me to do that. Yeah, they just wanted me out of the way while they did something else. What about that? And then I was lied to about it at the time. Oh, sorry. It's just nothing. It's just something. Just one of those things. I'm not mad about it, but I'd like to point out that you're lucky I'm not mad about it. That's a pretty shitbag thing to do. And I can't wait to tell certain affected parties this whole story once I ever see him again. I might not ever see him again. I mean, I don't need to boast about it. Like, hey, I just figured something out. 20 years later, I just figured out. I just bothered to put 2 and 2 together and make up 4. Like, damn, just guess what? I just figured it out. Most times, I think people would look at me kind of sad and think, oh, what a poor deluded fool. See, I knew there was a possibility that it was on purpose, but I didn't think it could possibly be for real, because I remember what I thought at the time, barely, and now I don't remember at all what I thought I would do to that guy if he turned out to have done it on purpose. But since he apparently did, and then somebody else did the same thing, maybe wait 3 hours, and then somebody else had me sit around for 3 years. Do you know this pattern here? 3 and 3 and 3. Anyway, that's why I'm still rolling tough on what I'm doing. There's nothing particularly special about my access or my use. I'm just not abusing them, right? I'm not intentionally concentrating something that could be very, very concentrated to get high. I mean, I'm high, but I mean, not like to get whoop-ass high. There's lots of things that can be done to the compound that you all are crying about. And I'm not doing any of those things. Not a fucking one. I'm just kind of doing what God tells me to do. And I'm, happy to take a break anytime, but some people never do. Yeah, some people just use it over and over and over for years while raising their children and get away with it. Damn. Wow, that's interesting. I wonder why those people get to do that, while I get faced with internet-wide slander, thuggy piggy bullies yelling at me to get a job in random chat rooms. Not because they want me to explore my work ethic, but because they want me to get out of the house so they can case the joint. Why has this experience of mine been so wildly different from other people's? And how do people justify that? I'm not really going to call anybody to account. I'm certainly not threatening to sue anybody. I don't want to sue anybody at all. Somebody might get sued, and I will laugh and cheer and stomp my feet. Nobody's going to sue me. No. And if they were to sue me, then I'm sure it would be part of a package deal where they had to sue me. I'm more than happy to discuss negotiations at any time. This was never about lawsuits. It was about power. I don't talk to certain people anymore, and then I wouldn't mind, right? But they don't like to talk to me anymore. They used to like talking to me when they felt like they had the upper hand and could laugh at me behind their hands. Now they don't really like that anymore, because it's pretty obvious that I was right and they were wrong. I would love to know more, but I don't need to. And I would imagine that all of them are represented by counsel these days, who has told them, don't talk to that guy. And they're right, because there's nothing stopping me from reporting what I know in a way that looks bad to certain people, and then causing a shit show, cataclysm of fucking unexpected consequences that you punilings can't even imagine. The way all this shit is roped together is, fortunately, not something I have to describe. And the less said, the better, I think, because it's fucking Machiavellian. It's the only word for it. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it's like diabolic, except not the devil. Well, anyway, somebody set this up so that I would suffer. I'm not suffering. I think this is fucking fab. This is awesome in ways I can't really put my finger on, but it's not awesome because I'm on drugs. No. And then if I were going to enjoy recreational drug use that I was going to choose to do, well, for one thing, after the last year and a half or so, I'm pretty bored of the whole notion. But I've only done one thing the whole time. I haven't been exploring multiple avenues of getting high, since I'm not really getting high to compensate for a sad life or to satisfy a craving for addiction. No, I'm just doing it to show off. And then when somebody else is asked, "Hey, would you mind quitting doing that for a while?" I'll be happy to say, I could stop at the same time too for support. Like, I don't need to cuddle up with this person and be their sponsor and control their life and go to meetings with them. No, I don't have to do that. But if they would like that, it's going to be nice that I'll be available for that purpose. And then if she's got a boyfriend who doesn't want to go to AA with her or whatever the fuck, I'd be happy to say, okay, cool, you have a boyfriend. No problem. Do we need to talk about him, or can we leave him at home? I'm not the jealous one. I'm not the concerned one. And I don't need to rub certain things in like I told you so, or other things like, well, we did it. Now we have to do everything my way because I was right and you were wrong. So I'm going to capitalize on my persuasive power. I'm nothing like that at all. Nothing like that at all. But I do want it to be known that what I'm doing is easy to recover from because I'm not abusing myself and I have permission and I know what I'm doing. It's kind of like David Blaine when he puts himself in the coffin, the airtight thing, and he stays there for 3 days or whatever the fuck. That's a gag. He plans it ahead of time. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes involved with that. What I'm doing is kind of similar. I'm not just randomly picking up shit off the ground and sticking it up my arm. I'm not having experiences that are going to lead to a lifetime of regret. I don't have any reason to believe that I have HIV. And if I did, I know I didn't get it from a dirty needle, since I don't really ever think I would ever use a needle twice, or a dirty one, since I grew up around my mother, who is an insulin-dependent diabetic and used needles every fucking day, sometimes 3 or 4 in a session. The government paid for them, so she could just rip through them. I don't know why people think that I have done the things that I've done because I'm an abuser. No, I did them so that when the time came to be supportive for people who were abusing things, I would be capable of dealing with it. Like, I don't know what exactly those people were on back in high school, but I know they weren't sharing it with me, and they were eventually doomed to fail. Now, I don't know where they are now, but they're definitely not on my speed dial list. I'm definitely not getting high with them. And then they definitely probably aren't getting high at all. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I don't know. They had some sort of secret deal that was good for them, and I wasn't allowed to be in on it. And now I have something similar, except I'm the person who decides who's going to be in on it. And I've decided that the very first person I want to tell is whoever the first person is from my high school class that wants to know. I don't know if any of them are still alive. I don't know if any of them truly I don't know if they really care. But when I got back to the house after being stuck at the motel 3.5 miles away with nobody calling me, nobody, the I-90 sign that I had taken possession of after 4 of us stole it, vandalized it from I-90. We all got in the car and we drove east, way out, and then we got an I-90 sign. We pushed it down. We unbolted it, carried it in, and they were all acting like it was a big deal. Fucking, it was a tradition. You steal a street sign and you hold it up for your senior class photo. What a bunch of fucking dorks. There was like 7 or 8 I-90 signs. We had one of the big ones though, because we went way out. And the reason why I had a big one is because I told them, no, you want to go way out and get the big ones. Don't get the little ones. Get a big, way out. And then somebody else was like, oh, it's too far. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's why there's going to be one. And then you wouldn't want to get caught, right? Nobody wants to get caught. So they were all worried about getting caught with the sign. So I ended up having it by default. And here it is 30 years later. Yeah. So they've stolen the sign back. I don't know who took it, but somebody took it. Maybe it was the police. Maybe the same person who took the guns into possession. Maybe they took the I-90 sign. I don't know what the fuck happened here. A gang ransacked my house after swindling my companion into calling the police on me and taking advantage of her ignorance. And I haven't seen her since. And I'm okay with all of this because they are getting what they deserve. And I won't say what that is. I don't actually know in some cases. And then I do know that I have a personal stake in forgiving everybody already. I certainly have forgiven Grapefruit. I'm not mad at her at all. Then I don't even know if Grapefruit was there. There were 4 women here that night. 4. And whether or not she was one of them, I don't know. I don't know how this Naruto shadow clone shit works. Okay. But I wasn't supposed to live this long to talk about it. I don't have a security clearance. I don't have any oaths to keep. I can just bladder everything that I fucking know right here and then put it on YouTube. And that wouldn't be against the law at all because it's not something that I've been told. It's just my observations. I pay attention. I was born in the week of study, also known as the week of the teacher. I don't have any reason to talk openly about classified military technology. I can, which is kind of neat. But just because I can doesn't mean I'm going to. I don't really need to boast about it. I don't really know all the details on this MK Ultra thing, but it's fucked up. I'm glad it's not working out the way some people had wanted it to. I guess the original plan was to turn every human being into one of these fucking things, and now it's not everybody. But I don't know. It's not working out the way they had planned because of reasons I'm not going to get into. But see, I could get into them. If somebody wanted to ask me questions, I could blah 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 blah, blah rattle off all my conjectures and my speculations openly without being fined or perjured for it, or not perjured, but charged with whatever the fuck they charge. Whatever the fuck people who give out secrets over the internet in order to get fame and notoriety are called. Not whistleblowers, but I don't know, they're scumbags. Like people who take money and work for the government and promise to keep secrets and then fucking, sneak out the fucking classified documents and then boast about it on Usenet or whatever. I don't think that's cool. I don't think Edward Snowden is cool. For one thing, he's a clown. There's nothing natural about that story. It was all made up to be a limited hangout. I didn't necessarily think it was great what he was doing anyway. And then that shit with Julian Assange, I couldn't figure out why the fuck that was going on at all. And then I came to find out that, he's a real dick. Yeah, maybe he's not the nicest white knight in the world, right? And here's another way that I know he's a real dick. He hasn't done shit about my case. I mean, there's some similarities. And then he was probably planning on using my identity as a cover to get away. But he didn't get away. And then I don't know where he is now, but he's not quite as famous as he probably would have been otherwise. Certainly, I'm no longer a big champion. I mean, I'm kind of curious what happens to him, but my follow-up question is, hey, so when were you gonna talk about all this other stuff? Which I happen to know, and then I wasn't gonna run my yap off to WikiLeaks anyway, because it's just not what I do. But when it comes to spreading the word, I don't think Julian Assange did all that good of a job. And then they put him in custody. And then he ended up finger painting on the walls with his own feces. That's not going to happen to me. For one thing, I can come and go from my embassy. For another, I have my own embassy. He had to borrow Ecuador's, right? So what's the big deal? How come he's famous and I'm not? Well, I don't actually want to be famous. And I've taken great pains to make myself sound like an idiot. So it kind of keeps down the fan club membership. That's why I'm not concerned about people who are disappointed that I want attention. I don't want attention. Today I was not wanting attention. I was just saying hi. I don't really know why people are upset with me. I do know that I don't give a shit. You're upset with me. Oh, that's funny. What's that like? Well, I'm pretty fucking far past worrying about what other people think about what I've done since I went to fucking jail on fucking Christmas Eve, and I was supposed to die, and so was she. And she's alive, and so am I. So I feel really good about what I've done with my life. Saving that person's life has made every ounce of annoyance that I've ever experienced in my whole life totally worth it. And the fact that she might be guilty of killing my ex-girlfriend from high school, that seems so unlikely. That couldn't possibly be the case. Come on. No way. You're telling me? No way. No. Surely somebody would have told me something by now. Okay, but let's say that's true. Let's say she flipped out and killed her, and then they had to replace her with something like a crisis actor. And let's say they had to keep me in the dark about it because I wasn't supposed to know that she's a homicidal lunatic. Are you kidding me? That's why I fell in love with her. That's my grapefruit. She's a fucking knife-wielding maniac. I like that. She threw a stick at my head and nearly killed me. Maybe she did kill me. I love that. And I didn't call the police. I mean, I didn't love the circumstances that made her stressed out, but the fact that she's a person who can just pick up a random stick and throw it at somebody and kill them dead, I think that's cool. And that she was so pissed at me that that's what she had to do, and whether she did that herself or whether she was controlled by some kind of I don't know, but that's cool. For one thing, I can handle it. For another, I fucking told you there was something you shouldn't be fucking doing, right? And then for a third, I mean, that's love. That was love. I asked her later about that whole thing, and she said, nothing I'm going to repeat. But she has felt bad about things that she's done to me. And she's also definitely has felt bad about things that she's still doing that she can't undo. That's kind of what happens when people make mistakes. Sometimes there's consequences and they have to be addressed. But I must maintain, I'm not mad at her at all. I'm not going to say I'm more in love with her now than ever. It depends. There's a lot of factors. Since we can't get married, I don't know if she's looking for cohabitation or anything. And then I didn't know. So you didn't tell me? Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to catch up with her again. It should be very relaxing for us both, considering I'm not mad at all. And then I would prefer to do it with her alone, preferably with no clothes either. But I would also be willing to do it in front of a counselor or a therapist. In fact, a whole panel. Let's have a whole fucking medical review board come up and ask me questions about my relationship with that woman. Let's do it on live fucking TV. That's fine with me. No problems. Yeah. I don't think anybody wants that. And I certainly would never suggest such a thing unless she wanted it that way. Because I'm very fond of her still. I was planning on breaking up with her. Maybe we will break up. But what won't happen is that I'm going to take the word of some thuggy shadow spook little fucking nimnod who fucking calls me up and starts making fucking threats. Cut your balls off. I asked him, you want me to forget? What if I don't forget about her? He says, then I'll cut your balls off. He literally said that to me. Now, I don't know what's worse, that he got away with it, he thinks, or that's what passes for a decent threat in his world. I'm not planning on suing anybody, but if I were, that's currently contender number one. The guy who says to me, forget about this woman that you've been having sex with for 5 years, or I'll cut your balls off. You're not in control. That guy shouldn't be walking around loose. Shouldn't be having access to weapons. Shouldn't be anywhere near any of my friends. Shouldn't be unaware that something's going to come as a result of that. I don't think I'm going to track him down and beat him up. I've got people for that if it comes to that. What a scumbag. And that's something that was done to me instead of just telling me the truth or telling me what's going on or pointing out certain things or trying to get me help or anything. I guess he thought nobody was paying attention. Well, I've been paying attention the whole time. Okay. The reason why you didn't get the kind of response from me that you might have thought you might have back then is because I was waiting for an opportune moment. Like, I still have no idea how the fuck certain things happened. But I know they're not her fault. And they might be yours. And I'm totally okay with telling the truth about everything that happened to anyone. And if that puts both of you in jail, okay, I don't care. Don't care at all. Her, I can bust out. Her, I can write a letter to the governor and say, hey, excuse me, Mr. Governor, this is what's happening. You, on the other hand, are not in control of the circumstances of your life anymore. Because you mocked me, you teased me, you lied to me. Openly. Recently. We're not talking about like, I'm going to get you back for something you did in high school. No, fucker. This is like shit you did last year. The last year and a half of my life has been demonstrably more annoying. Just because you're a fucking thuggy piggy douchebag who thinks it's fucking funny to fucking push people around. Take advantage of people who are in positions of inferiority. Like, dude, how the fuck are you allowed to fucking do anything? Like, why the fuck, why do you have a fucking budget? Do you have a job? Like, what, why do people let you live? I don't get it. Well, okay, wait. You are pretty handsome. Still, dude, do you have any idea what a real man would do to the shit that you said to me? Probably not. No. All right. Well, don't worry about buckling up. It's already too late. Where was I at this? Oh yeah. So, it's awkward. I'd love to tell you more about what's been happening, but I don't think I should. I didn't realize I was going to go on this long. Wow. It's too bad I don't have, somebody to work out with or to take my mind off certain things. But instead, I'm here all alone in a house with very little internet, monitored by clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right of me. I got 2 Wi-Fi networks that cover this house, and my Wi-Fi has to go through there, and they intercept and monitor all my internet traffic. That's okay with me, since I've had nothing to do for a year and a half other than to cry and whine about how fucking stupid this all has been. Like, if you thought you were going to track down my secret network of criminal confidants or accomplices, I don't have one, morons. I don't have one at all. And I'm not going to create one. Certainly not with you looking. And then if I did create one, it probably wouldn't be unlawful. And then I'm certainly not going to fall for your heavy-handed, ham-handed bullshit, fucking entrapment bullshit. I'm not. I'm just not going to. Here's why. I have no reason to, right? It's not like anybody's made me a deal. Okay, take the fall for this and we'll do this. There's been no quid pro quo. It's just been enforcement where the enforcement consists of entrapping me to do things that I wouldn't do otherwise. Like what I'm doing now. I wouldn't do this the way I've been doing it otherwise. No. Not even close. My hand is kind of forced by the sudden revelation that instead of fucking telling me what was going on, you just listened to me and then blocked my phone and hung up on me 3 times, and then went around my back and then plotted with the woman to betray me and then throw me in prison so you could take all my money and laugh all the way to the bank and take the house back or whatever the fuck. And then you never, ever actually told me what was going on. Okay. That makes you not necessarily culpable, but it does make you stupid. Like, that is a really, really long way to go to get something that isn't yours. And your obsession with getting it out of me. I still don't get it. I have no idea. But I can't wait to find out. And out of respect, I'm not asking anybody else before I get a chance to ask one grapefruit alpha prime squared dancing beta. I'm going to ask her first. I don't prefer to go around her back. I'd rather openly say to her, "Hi, this is a situation. What are you doing later?" Okay. And then when she's busy sucking somebody else's dick, I'll go and I don't know what I'll do, but I might suck dick myself. I don't know. But I don't need to hide about it. And I'm certainly the one that's in control of my situation. And I'm pretty sure I can suck dick even if I don't have any balls. So what you going to do, buddy? Oh, that's right. That's right. I shouldn't tease you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you couldn't tell me for 3.5 months, huh? You just had to keep that under your hood because it was totally appropriate for you to do whatever you were doing and leave me in the dark, right? That's totally, it was totally kosher, right? Because you were looking to help people, right? I mean, it's your origin story. I really just want to make it clear that I'm not trying to make you sweat or anything. I'm not looking to cause trouble. Don't want to make things any worse, right? Okay, I have to do this. Honestly, ever since this chick's father yelled at me on his front lawn, I've been not obsessed with the notion, but just fascinated. Like, what was this guy thinking? Was he thinking that yelling at me was gonna make me like behave? Like am I his am I one of the labors of Hercules that he has to get going? So anyway, I don't get to talk to the daughter the same way I did before because now I know things that I didn't know before. It's like a subtle. So I haven't heard from her for a while, not since yesterday. She hung up on me after I asked a question. And now the phone, it says calling. Damn. Come on, let me talk to her. Why not? Or maybe I'll get a restraining order. I don't know. I mean, this one I would be happy to, show up to court and actually talk about. Say, this seems strange. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it just tickles my funny bone. Like, this guy did not understand what he was getting into. Because I wasn't doing that. And then I guess he must have been thinking that he was going to implicate me or something, or that people would believe him or something. But no, I'm probably like the only guy on the planet that can both tolerate her and has never done that with her. So Does that mean somebody else is, or do I need to call the police? I don't want to call the police, right? I can call CPS, Child Protective Services. Hello, I'm calling about my friend and she's getting along with her father badly. I don't want to call and do that, but I could. And now the phone doesn't work. Wow. Yeah, so the military has my connections on lockdown. Good idea.